Hello and welcome from the depths. My name is Sun Karma, and what we're doing today is a bit of a continuation of something of a video I did before. Now, see, I've got to the point that I want to experiment around with different armor types and different weapons and see how they fare. Now, forward, because this is experiments, so it's not exactly scripted here. Now, what I want to do today is basically, if you can tell by the massive cram cannon here, yes indeed I want to test cram cannons out. Now, cram cannons is a bit of a strange issue to think now. When I was setting this up, I was thinking a bit about testing these cram cannons now. The big thing about a cram cannon is, what's the average cram cannon? Now, the average cram cannon is bloody huge. That's what most people will turn to use cram cannons, because if they're going to use any sort of other cannon, they will use advanced cannons. And then, when they need massive amounts of firepower, they build a cram cannon. If they just need a decent gun, they'll take an advanced cannon. So, what we have here is a 1.5 meter shell, or 1.6 if you round it around, and of course we'll be switching around the type of pellets we're putting into it every now and then through this experiment. Now, do not worry, you don't have to watch this. I will most likely at the end of this of all these tests, after I've done particle cannons, lasers and missiles, I will go do another test where I will do another video where I will have this in a much more compact, much more clearer form. This is just mostly for my own sake, you know. So, what kind of armor are we going to be testing this cram cannon against? Well, those of you who watched my previous video might notice immediately this is quite different setup than what we had before, because like I said, cram cannons, the average cram cannon is bloody huge. Even like the more weaker, lower amount of pellets, thick ones are like a meter wide. You don't make a cram cannon and make it small. So in this situation I have gone and upped the armor for some of these things. Because necessarily, if I see enemies with a lot of cram cannons, I'm going to have to up armor myself. So what do I exactly have here? Now, here we specifically have, the first thing you'll notice here is we've got 3 layers of double thick wood with space in between them. Quite a very, not a space efficient design. What it takes would give quite a decent protection, I believe. And then secondly, you have 2 layers of lightweight metal alloy. Now, I rarely use lightweight metal alloy myself. I was considering just cutting this out of the experiment as well, but you know, just maybe I thought, yeah, what hell, I might as well check it out. Now here we have 4 thick metal. Now, important thing to remember, if you don't know, is that when you've got blocks stacked up against each other, they give armor bonuses to the blocks in front of them, which makes it effectively much more stronger. And actually did this because, well, let me just show you. Look at this thing. This thing has just armor piercing pellets around here, and it's got an armor piercing value of 183. That's going to cut through basically anything. And also kinetic damage is 16,000. That is ridiculously high. And it's not really that big of a cram cannon. If I just shifted these pellets around to the side here, it would make it wouldn't take that much space. Maybe extend the barrel a bit, shuffle the things around. I could fit it in a smaller area. Maybe fill it a bit downwards, and I could fit this on basically any floor blaze ship I want. But similarly, if I'm going up against cram cannons, I need to apply protection against it. Now, again, here we have explosive reactive armor on 2 layers of metal. Now, personally, that against crab cannon isn't really going to matter, because crab cannons don't have the type of ammunition that explosive reactive armor is designed to counter. So, but I nevertheless I left it in for formality. That's a word? I believe so. Now, here we come to our heavy armor. Now we've actually put up 2 metal beams of heavy layers of heavy armor. Now something I definitely will never do, but nevertheless for this test I wanted to put it in because of how violent a cram cannon can be. I will say this, before I started recording, I did do a little bit of a test, and cram cannons quite enjoy going straight through single layer of heavy armor. So there's that. Now over here we have a shield generator, effect strength 10. Now to be honest, again, some of these other things, the shield generator I was thinking of actually just leaving out, because of my previous experience of a shield generator showed that really is down, for the changes to shield generators, that is down to chance whether these things is going to give any sort of protection. So putting it on the ship is sort of like, okay, I'm just getting an extra chance to survive a shot, to bounce back a shot, but otherwise no, it's not going to be of that much use. Now let's begin with the tests. Of course, there's going to be quite a lot of cuts in this due to the nature of crab cannons taking so long to load and how much it takes to set up some of these things. So see you in a moment. Alright, let's do some testing here. Now, first test will be what is basically a full-on armor-piercing cram cannon. No fancy fancy penetration depth gauges or anything, just armor-piercing. Tons of armor-piercing. If you want to have the exact number, why don't you just pause and count this all out. See, I got a nice all-in screen. Count it. To be honest, like I said before, this is really just for my own sake. Alright, let's begin the test. So, we're going to do our full-on armor-piercing cram cannon here against wood. Right, let's test. And as you can see, before the robots get in the way and start repairing this, is that it's pretty much gone straight through. It's basically what cram cannons are, is they're the big alpha weapons, and if you make a full-on armor-piercing cannon, is basically gonna be cutting through everything. There's no surprise that it's managed to get through all of that. Now, I will make a small cut while we wait for this thing to fully reload, and welcome back. Now, of course you might be wondering, oh, why don't you just make a full on load and just make it reload faster? I was like, well, no, that's not really the point here. I just care about a bit of an average damage test. Anyways, I'm piercing against lightweight alloy. Straight through. Was anyone surprised by that? I certainly wasn't. Bit of a problem with this thing. Ooh, our repair technicals are kicking in there. Now we're going to start thinking about something more interesting. Yes, indeed. We're going to start looking at metal beams. Now, excuse me, we'll make a small cut while we wait to reload. And back again. Let us test now. armor-piercing cram cannon against four thick metal. Straight through. And we've actually hit some of the crucial modules I put behind it. That's rather worrying, to be honest. That's how easily you can get through it. Now, of course, cram cannons aren't the most accurate of things, but that makes me rather worried. So how am I going to defend against a cram cannon with excessive armor piercing? It can literally just rip through my ship, and if it hits something critical, it's going to hit something critical, and it's going to blow up half my ship, maybe, possibly. Even though it doesn't have an ounce of explosive. Problematic, I would say. Nevertheless, we shall continue with the experiments. Right, now, double thick armor with explosive reactive armor. Now, this isn't going to be anything, but I wanted to just do this for formality's sake. We all know what's going to happen here. Straight through. And that leaves a nice little hole, and nevertheless, with the state of what this reactive armor is, this probably would be nice for keeping defense against other things while that that metal beam is being replaced. So, only thing we now want to do is to test it against a shield and, of course, heavy armor. Back now, let us test against heavy armor. Yeah. Even though I put up 2 layers of heavy armor there, this is what's happened. If I press caps lock, the shell is still going. Quite barely. No, in the previous test I figured out that heat ammunition is quite effective against heavy armor, but just a massive cram cannon. That's fine. Oh boy, this is not making me feel good. I'm sort of regretting making this video now. Or making these experiments point. Why did I even do this? Ugh. So let's see what happens against a shield. Now this is going to be down to chance really, so... That did hit the ship. Ow. And that one went through. We'll do one more shot just to sort of check how well. We'll make 3 shots to check the shield effectiveness. Next shot went through. Yeah, no hope. No hope for the wicked against a full armor-piercing cram cannon, it seems. Well, that's to be expected. Cram cannons are cram cannons. Now, nevertheless, let us move on. The next thing we would like to test in the list of cram cannon things. Let's see, we have hardened pellets. Now let's go on to EMP pellets. Now, EMP, I don't know. I personally don't use it that much because I tend to not rely on capturing things. I more destroy things. Probably should try and look into it. Though, the question is, how well does the actual EMP of cram cannons work? Now, as you might have noticed here, we have these little dummy to critical targets that we have here, and I've put 4 surge protections in front of each. So even if the surge goes through, this is actually well reasonably protected, because excuse me, 4 surge protectors is reasonably cheap to use. So, let us begin. Now, I'm not going to have to do too much restoration here. Everything's still in one piece. Right, and density is now 100. Let's see what happens. Full power EMP. Now, what's the bloody point I'm doing this? Well, we're going to see the damage. As you can see, because it's wood, EMP doesn't go through it. But it's destroyed the wooden beam. So, hey! I could actually make a cram cannon and load full of EMP and not have to worry too much if the target doesn't have anything it can EMP. It can just destroy blocks by hitting things. The mere sheer volume of the shell. Alright. I'll be honest, this is the third time I'm doing this right now. This is kind of some of the reason why I don't like EMP, is that it acts funny. It doesn't really work in my favour. I prefer much just to blast physical damage. I don't capture ships. Look, I make very cheap ships. I don't need any extra resources. Oh, damn. Now this is rather curious. As you can see there, the first thing that happened was that, the little bot repaired the thing already, but nevertheless you can still see quite clearly the damage. It's taken out, the impact took out a block, which is rather worrying. And the EMP blast traveled through, knocked out several surge protectors, as well as destroying crucial blocks. And then somehow, I don't know why this is happening, but somehow jumped over and destroyed some extra blocks as well on the other side. These are all insulated with wooden blocks. It shouldn't be able to jump over. Good thing to know, I guess. Nevertheless, let me fix a few things here. Right, EMP CRAM cannon versus steel, basically. Now, in this sort of case, a steel beam has to be destroyed because A, it's steel, B, it's layered steel, so quite protected from all that. Secondly, it seems somehow we've got a little bit less destruction. No more the case because somehow the EMP is jumping. Should not be possible. Well, that's why I just don't like EMP. Not nevertheless. If I see a cram cannon, holy shit. Something to worry about. 4 surge protectors certainly isn't going to be able to protect me against an EMP cram cannon. There we go. Ouch. Well, this time it didn't bloody... Oh no, it did. It did. It took out that block. I'm very, very angry. I am very pissed off right now. But at least we know 4 surge protectors isn't going to cut it. I would definitely have to use a lot more surge protectors. Yeah. Now, here we go. Now we're gonna come to the most interesting part. The part that I'm actually interested in about EMP. Is we come to the part now, it's heavy armor. Now, those who don't know, the thing about heavy armor is it is susceptible to EMP. It can take EMP damage. This works sort of 2 ways. Now, see, it's clearly taken out 2 blocks. But the important thing to notice is that nothing has gone to these surge protectors. I look down here, nothing like that there. Because the EMP blast channels into the nearest thing it can damage. So it goes, okay, is it wood? Then I won't be able to go through it, and it ignores it. If it's metal, I can go through it, but I don't damage it. If it's like an AI core or a surge protector, I damage it. Damage the bloody hell out of it. And the heavy armor it says I can damage it. I can't. I can go through it, and I can also damage it. So it stops and damages it, and if it doesn't have any more damage left, it doesn't go on. So heavy armor is very much a very good protection against. Jesus Christ, where was I? Yeah, rudely interrupted by someone yelling when it wasn't even anyone in the house. Freaking ghosts. Now, yeah, so putting up heavy armor to defend against EMP is a strategy because you get heavy protection as well as protection against EMP. Because they absorb the EMP before it can get to critical equipment. So, let us go see what happens if we go blast this at a shield. Now, the thing is, it's going to bounce off. Now, those of you who watched the previous video, you know there's that special tip for a EMP warhead that channels the damage to for all the EMP damage to destroy a shield generator, not just bounce off it. Now, in this case, unless the CRAM cannon shell is going to hit, it's not really going to. Yeah, there it hit and actually went through and actually caused damage. If it doesn't, then it's not really going to cause an issue. Now, the only real thing we can do now is we can move on. So, what's next into the list of things that we're going to test? We go hardened EMP, now high explosive. This is definitely what people will be using CRAM cannons for. Well, what they most likely will be using CRAM cannons for is a mixture of explosive and armor piercing. Alright, now okay, so let's get to the more interesting part. High explosive. I just want to quickly come check here for the hell of it. 48 radius blast, 23,000 explosive damage. Yes, that's the kind of shit people come to CRAM cannons for, that massive explosive damage. Though, like with the previously, the EMP looks kind of nice. I might consider it. Though, not really. That enough explanation for you? Oh, fuck, man. Jesus Christ, how am I supposed to design defense for a CRAM cannon? Holy shit. Okay. Fix up. Now, let's be honest. As you can see from the kind of black blocks here, it didn't get through 3 layers of double thick wood. Though it did completely annihilate 2 things, and as building a ship with that much wood is just too impractical. Oh my god. Okay, so, whoa, what's up there? What's next, George? Oh, we're gonna test this thing against some lightweight metal alloy. We saw it blow up, but let's watch it blow up again. CRAM cannons are retarded. Though, admittedly, you have to have long reload, very large caliber, very big size. There's all these little factors, but it's so stupid. You'll have to excuse me. I need to prepare this for the next test now. Right, back. Let's see if the 4 thick steel beams can actually handle the explosion. Shall we just call it here and say it's not going to survive anything? So, really? Alright, now... Shit, man. might as well just call it a day. Say I won't be able to protect it and just live with it. Live with the fact that I'm gonna get blown up by some other cram cannon. This is literally 1.6 centimeter cram cannon. There's a lot of cram cannons that are smaller, but there's a lot of cram cannons that are bigger. And after last week, I was gonna make all my armor double thick steel with not last week. What is this? A TV show? No, this is a YouTube video. Last episode, I was going to use ERA armor and double thick steel, but really, alright. Let's see if the heavy armor does anything. Because, frankly, look, if double thick heavy armor is not going to stop this, then I'm not going to use heavy armor. Because triple thick, I don't care if triple thick heavy armor can stop it, or can protect against whatever, because it's just way too expensive. This one's supposed to be active. Why would you there? But anyways, for the moment before everything got repaired, it was quite clear that the heavy armor didn't even bloody flinch. So unless it's bloody armor piercing cram cannons, it's not really something I have to worry about, is it? Right. Yambara, here comes the shield. You don't know my ammo is right here. Whoopsie. But yeah. I guess the best defense against HE CRAM cannons is basically faith. Faith, my friend. Faith. You need to believe in shield generators. And that's gonna be your defense against it. Because, oh my god. We're just emptying your wallet into that, but then again, if someone just has a armor piercing round, you're screwed. Nevertheless, let us continue on. So, what's next on the menu? Well, it's fragmentation pellets, which will be our second last experiment. How would you say second last? Well, see, we've got hardened pellets, EMP pellets, high explosive, and fragment pellets. There's nothing really else. I could try a dead dog standard without any sort of pellets kind of cram cannon, but that's pointless. That's more. Who the hell would actually do that? No one, to be honest. So, fragmentation pellets. Now, fragmentation weapons I don't really use that much because I'm in the mindset of there isn't any people inside the ship, so why would I use fragmentation? But in my previous test I saw that, oh, fragmentation warheads can be quite devastating. And this is I am looking forward to this. Alright, let's see about this. So, a full-on frag cannon. We're about to see what kind of damage this does. Youch. Yeah, that's completely gone. There's no way for me to adjust my frag pellets, is there? Not really. See, with the other weapons, there's the option to change the fragment pellets into a cone shape blast, but this is, just seems to be generally going in frontwards. But oh well, that is. That's not good. It went through. You know, the HE, the high explosive at least stopped at the third layer of wood, but this went right through it. All right, let's see. Fragmentation cannon against lightweight metal alloy. Well, if I can just line it up correctly. See, the only real reason why I would actually use lightweight alloy is because it's very light, so I would use it on aircraft. But if I use it on aircraft, it'd be very vulnerable. Now, luckily, cram cannon isn't really something that has a very good velocity, so its chances to actually hit an aircraft is very low. So, my worries is kind of for naught, actually, if I'm building aircraft out of light alloy, but yeah, I don't like lightweight metal alloy. I prefer to use metal, especially on my aircraft. Now, of course, I do have to consider the fact that lightweight metal alloy, because of the resource changes, the material cost is 16, and a metal beam is going to cost 20. 16, 20. So it can be an alternative for using instead of wood, for when you want to make a wooden deck, maybe somewhere. At the rare chance, maybe I'll use a bit of lightweight alloy. But seriously, this is just ridiculous. All right. Fragmentation void. This is loaded. Yes, loaded now. Fragmentation warhead against metal B. 4 thick layer metal, if I can aim this thing. Ah, see now, there. For once, it's not gone through. Though it has ricocheted around and taken out a lot of other things here on the range. It's taken out some wooden blocks, it's taken out some lightweight alloy, taken out some of that, but most part the metal is A-OK. In fact, the second layer is not even that damaged. Fantastic news, I would say. Now do excuse me, I need to repair this section here. Okay, let's see. Cram cannon versus explosive reactive armor, double thick steel. Yeah. Predictable. The only real reason why the 4 thick steel has actually survived is due to the fact there's 4 thick steel. It's stacked up, the armor rating stacked up onto that, giving more protection. Even in this case, it's gone straight through and annihilated our dummy critical parts. I'd say, hey everyone, quickly go to the forums, complain about Frag being OP, get it nerfed. But that would be a bit cruel, because I needed something rather powerful to get through heavy armor. And I'm basically looking at cram cannons to be my only hope against heavy armor. I haven't really encountered anything that uses heavy armor in the campaign, but then again, I only ever I'm basically stuck against the Deepwater Guard. Not true, I've defeated the Deepwater Guard. I've defeated the Deepwater Guard a couple of times, actually. It's just that the factions after the Deepwater Guard is problematic for me. Righto! Let's see how this happens. Heavy armor, let me see. Do I have something else except armor piercing to go against heavy armor? Well, the heavy armor didn't even cough. But my fortress here got a big hit. Oh my word. What the hell was that? Oh my word. Oh, oh well. Alright, back. Let's see. Well, they just didn't do anything against heavy armor. Well, which is a bit strange because the advanced cannon flag actually managed to do quite a bit of damage against heavy armor. Well, once again, the shield proves to be quite effective at bouncing frag, especially as a 10 strength one. Now, I typically don't like using shields, but then recently I've given up and started using shields, and definitely in this sort of situation it is shields we have to use, because in all other cases except the heavy armor it is quite hopeless to try and defend against CRAM cannon. Yeah, it's going to be holding on to faith of the shield generators that you will survive the CRAM cannon. Yes. Faith. Faith alone is going to help me. So, hello. Let us now set up our next thing. Now, I said hardened mixture of armor piercing and explosive, right? So let's get to doing that. So we're gonna go about 2 parts hardened and 3 parts explosive. That should be a nice recent experiment for this. Now the thing about this is we need to do a little thing. We need to pop out here and actually get a fusing box, like as someone very kindly pointed out for me. Thank you very much. Can't remember your name off my top of my head, but do thank you very much for the notice that if a charge has explosive and piercing, the moment it hits something it will explode unless it has a fuse. So I'm not going to put a... usually if I make a fuse I put a timed fuse. I want to say time from first impact. Yes, alright. Get your story right. There's half a second since first surface. Now, if it has a fuel, it goes through the first layers, and then afterwards it will explode. If it not, and the moment it's destroyed, then it explodes, etc., 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 etc. But nevertheless, again to the guy, forgot your name. Very much thank you. helps me clear some things up. Makes these tests a lot more better. Now, do excuse me while I go fix up the firing range. Hello! Welcome back. Got all things, little things set up. So, let's test this out. 3 layers of double thick wood against armor piercing high explosive. Now, naturally, of course, my fusing is a bit bad because I don't tend to use fusing except time from launch fuse. But as you can see, on that side is the round going straight through and exploded out the other side. Very problematic, especially if we count the fact that we would have gone through several things and ended up in the middle of some crucial part of the ship and exploded and killed everything. Now I have gone and I want to go and check something. I've gone and changed this bit times the first surface a bit so that we have a bit more clearer shot here at the thing. Now let's go. Armor piercing against lightweight metal alloy. Again, it just goes through like butter because it's cannon armor piercing. Now, there's no real thing I can do to protect against that because it will go through these layers and hit things behind. And if a fuse was set right, it will explode inside the ship. Crucial parts. Oh, I'm just repeating myself because I'm rather devastated, you know. I don't really have any sort of solution for any of this. I can't think. I'm just... That has penetrated so hard it didn't even destroy the block. Ay, caramba. I'm just making noises now. I'm sorry. What do you test now? I don't know. I feel damaged. Truly, I do feel damaged. It's shocking. But nevertheless, that's why we're doing this. Hey! Right, really, there is only the heavy armor we can test this against. Aha! Now see, what's happened there is the thing didn't have enough penetration to go through anything, so it just detonated. It's completely destroyed everything else on the sides, but heavy armor is still rather intact. Now I'm going to do another little test, just for my own sake. Alright, now I just wanted to do one little extra one here, just with the heavy armor. The second one just at the one thick heavy armor, because I think about these mixed rounds, high explosive, armor piercing and armor piercing, high explosive, whatnot, is that you're sacrificing the extreme power of the one to get a mix. And a lot of times it doesn't work out very well. It's gone through that metal beam and detonated on the other side, it seems. Destroying everything on the other side, but the other beams are quite fine. So one metal beam is going to be reasonable, unless it's a 2-meter cannon. This is 1.585. I've seen some ships that field 1.8 meter caliber guns. So, let's see. Alright, let's go ahead and see how well does crab cannons do against Faith. I mean, what the... You have to excuse me, I feel very devastated right now, okay? I need a hug. Alright. Crab cannon versus Faith. Armor piercing, high explosive. Faith has worked. Faith is working. We have to do one more. See if it's got a pattern. Faith. Faith, you know. Faith. That old faith. Faith is what's going to be the end result. So, my name's Vincent Karma. I hope you enjoyed this watching experiment. Like I said before, I'll probably at some point later on make a tutorial on that compresses all the knowledge I've gained from all these experiments at some later stage. Now, the next one I'm probably gonna do is gonna be missiles against armor. Oh boy, yeah, missiles. But for now, what kind of cram cannon would I use? I would use full HE cram cannon. My personality, but you might think, Alan, you found out that you liked the armor piercing high explosive. Yeah, the armor piercing high explosive ones are very good. I see. I've heard as well, and flak ones as well. But what kind of defense would I use against cram cannons? Well, I'll go take this wooden beam, stick it on there. Then I'll go get some faith projection and project some faith and get that to protect my ship. There you have it. Faith. That's the conclusion. Faith. Use faith. Believe! And you'll be able to survive a cram cannon. Have a nice day.